Hi! Guess what we're doing today? We are going to make some great munchies, and I'm excited to share this recipe just like I always am. Make sure before we get started that you click the subscribe button and give me some thumbs up and some feedback and let me know what you think about these delicious, tasty dips we're going to make today. One thing I love to do to get my family to eat vegetables, and I like to get them to eat vegetables year-round, is to create wonderful dips using fresh vegetables. And today we are making guacamole. That's right, we're going to make it in the kitchen, and it's delicious. You don't even have to worry about going down to the grocery store and buying that kind that's runny and horrible tasting, because I'm going to teach you how to make it fresh and delicious in your own house. And
what are we making?
We're making guacamole, and I can't wait to taste it and to share it with you guys. Let's get started. We are going to be using avocados. Of course, that's the base for any good guacamole. Aguacate. These are what they're called in Spanish, and we always want to make sure that we have them that they're dark. You can feel a nice little squish to them. Everybody has their tips and techniques for making sure that you're going to use a ripe one. But today we're going to be using 2 ripe avocados. We're going to use a Roma tomato. We're going to spice it up a little bit with some jalapeño, some onion, garlic, and I love fresh cilantro. Remember, all of the ingredients are going to be listed in the description box below, and click subscribe if you have not clicked subscribe yet. Let's go ahead and get started on this delicious, tasty meal. I do want to point out you need to be careful. I work really quick in my kitchen, and I'm very comfortable with the knives that I use and the placement and the way that I hold. But I just read 2 days ago that the #1 injury that comes out of a kitchen is from cutting avocados. You are warned. Now, when I'm working with these avocados, I'm going to cut them simply in half. And I like to cut them in a half this way. And you can see how beautiful that color is inside. Now, I also know that it takes a full year for an avocado to be completely grown from the very beginning to the end. And avocados grow in size, but the last few months that they're on the tree, they're actually developing that healthy fat or the healthy oil that we like with the avocados inside. So let's go ahead and we're going to just simply pop out our seed there. Now, this is a technique that I like to do, and again, you want to make sure that you're careful. But I simply like to put in some slices into my avocado before I scoop them out with a large spoon. So let me go ahead and show you there, and you can see, again, being careful using your knife. We don't want to get ourselves in any trouble. Let me grab a spoon. I wasn't prepared for that part. Thanks, guys. So we're going to go ahead and chop that avocado or cut it up, and we simply use a spoon to scoop it out into the bowl. It's really easy. Now, I know a lot of you have made this many times in your kitchen, and some people think, would we even need a video, Kerry, to show how to do this? And I say absolutely, because I'm dedicating this to my sons. My 2 guys love to eat, and they love to cook, but they don't really like to follow mom along in the kitchen. So I like to create this video for other people around the world, around the United States, who love to eat guacamole and they never really knew how to prepare it. So bear with me if you have a more advanced technique. Remember, not all of us cook the same way in our kitchen. And again, this is really an easy way to get your avocado out. And looks like we already did that. I can't believe I cut 4 so quick. So what we're going to do at this time is we're going to go ahead and add in some finely diced vegetables that are going to go into our mix. Now, you can make this as chunky as you would like, but for myself, I like more of a finely diced tomato. And one thing I'm going to do...
onion.
Pardon me?
You mean onion.
I mean onion. You're right. My mind has been wandering a little bit today, and I was thinking that I didn't even have my masher out. But I better be able to identify the vegetables that I'm using, and we're going to finely dice our onion today. I had to disappear and duck down here, but don't be afraid, guys. I'm still with you. One of the things that I like to do, rather than mash it with my fork, is I sometimes just take a whisk and I go ahead and I press it in there. This allows me, and it's my little secret, my little tip and technique that I'm kicking out to everybody today. By using a whisk, I'm able to leave some good solid chunks of the avocado in there. I don't really want to smash it up and make it too smooth. I do like the different vegetables to be easily identified in there. So as you see, we're going to do that. And we're going to use a Roma tomato. And let's finish up our onions since I'm all over the place. I must be getting ready for a party because guacamole is the best party dip I can make. Let's go ahead and get that prepared. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Now, I don't know about all the different recipes that you can make using the avocado, but I know that usually I use what I have on hand. I sometimes like to use purple onion, but true to Mexico cooking is cooking with what you have, what's available, and today I had white onion, so that's what I'm going to be using today for my guacamole. And that is simple and easy and ready to go. A tip that I also would like to share with you today is choosing your lime. The smoother your lime, the more juice is inside of it. And that is a tip that I learned from my Aunt Prissy. You can see that naturally citrus has little pits and kind of a bumpy peel. But the smoother your lime, you know that it's lime filled. And you can also roll it on the counter and make sure that you break up all the fibers and juice it up. So we're gonna add in the juice of one lime right now. And I'm just simply gonna squeeze that in. Lime has a special acidic quality that helps your avocado from turning brown. And that's another technique and tip that I like to use. And I don't use a juicer. When I'm juicing my limes directly for my dips, I squeeze them directly into, because I don't want to get any of the bitter part from the pith. And usually when you use a juicer, you're going to get everything out of there. So we're going to kind of keep it simple there today. Now, you have two choices when you're moving on and making your guacamole, and I use Roma tomatoes a majority of the time, but some people like to remove the seeds, and for myself, I don't. I like that little extra bit, and when I'm using 2 avocados, I usually only need 1/2 of a Roma tomato, but I can use the full tomato if I want to make it chunkier. Or if I am using more avocados, of course, I can incorporate the whole entire tomato. And this is a juicy one, so I'm going to go ahead and slide it over with my board. Adding it in there, it's very simple, very easy. Now, let's move on and talk a little bit about cilantro. I'm going to use the right word for it this time since I'm notorious for calling it jalapeño. So with our cilantro, when we're making our dips, a lot of people like to remove the stem or the leaf part, but actually in the stem is a lot of moisture and a lot of delicious flavor. So when I'm creating dips, I simply just roughly cut it up. There's no need for me to take any of the stems out of this because it's going to add a nice little pop of freshness there. Now remember, for those of you who cannot eat cilantro because they feel it tastes like soap, remember there's a genetic condition that we found out recently that some people, regardless of whether they want to enjoy it or not, it just always has that bitter quality. So you can skip this, you can add in parsley if you'd like, or you can just do away with the leaf together. But I love the cilantro for the freshness, and it's also a great way to incorporate more vegetables and fresh greens and herbs in our life. Now the last thing we have to cut is our jalapeno. The jalapeno is the little spicy brother of the serrano pepper. So for those of you who like to have your lips on fire and burning, feel free to use the serrano pepper if you'd rather. I like to use a jalapeno when I'm creating my guacamole. You can also omit it though, if you'd like. And I simply remove the veins or the rib on the inside. And I'm going to cut some nice strips into this. And again, just chopping them up into bite-sized pieces. And that way we get a nice little mix of everything in each one of our pieces. A lot of times we have guests that pop by, or we have visitors that we didn't expect, or you might have people that are coming together and they're hungry. And this is something I can throw together in less than 5 minutes. It's easy to put out with some chips and some dip, and it all comes together really nicely. While I'm letting this all just sit and blend and marry itself together and taste, I'm going to go ahead and explain how I'm going to do my crema. And this is a sour cream base, and I used about 1/2 cup, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make 2 types of dip today, and we're going to use also some of the jalapeno that we were working with, and this one Again, it's just very small pieces. And thank you for following along, because a lot of us don't really know how to make some extra dip. These can be served with chips. You can eat them, of course, when you're just having munchies, but these are also delicious to put on tacos. You can put them on salads, and there's many, many ways that you can enjoy these as well. So I'm mixing in a little bit of the jalapeno, and I'm gonna go back and grab off some of those leaves from our cilantro, and that simply gets a coarse chop. And that is going right into the sour cream. So a quick reminder, we've got 2 delicious dips going on right now. And I'm gonna go ahead and give a squeeze of lime right over that delicious cilantro. So what would we call this dip? We would call it a jalapeno cilantro crema. And this is something that's also really good on tacos. You can dip tostadas directly into it. This is also good as a, to eat with chips and dip. So look how great this came together. Easy, easy, delicious. Now, for those of you who are just tuning in for the first time, I hope you get together and look at some of my previous videos that I put together that are out there on the ZIA Cooking channel. And let's go ahead and put this together, and we'll plate it up really nice and get our bowls out there, and we're gonna invite our friends to come in and eat some chips and dip. Yes, we are. Now, if you like a creamier base, of course you can smash it more. You can use a potato smasher. You can take a couple of forks to it. But I like this style, kind of a what a restaurant here in town calls a guacamole a la Mexicana, where it's basically similar of the ingredients that you use in a pico de gallo. So it still gives you a nice little bite, and you're gonna go ahead and enjoy that here with our crema. Now for spices, this is where I leave it to you. I like to use a simple salt and pepper, but you can also know we've already incorporated all of these delicious vegetables, so they have wonderful taste. But you can add in fresh cracked pepper. Some people like to incorporate some oregano, and the choice is yours when you're creating a delicious meal in your kitchen. Let's go ahead and take a big bite. And I want to ask you guys to subscribe if you haven't already. And I want to ask you to share this wonderful video with your friends. At least I think it's wonderful. And again, I look forward to seeing you guys come back. Let's take a big bite of this. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm coming to Kerry's for a party. This is tasty. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of that crema on top, just so I can show off how wonderful my dips are. Fiesta time, it's guacamole. Enjoyed seeing you guys today. Bye-bye.